Everyone, thank you so much for watching this episode of Anything But Casual. I'm Zachariah, as always. Today, we're going to discuss the attempted assassination or attack on the Trump administration during the White House Correspondents' Dinner this last weekend, April 25th. We're going to discuss conspiracy theories surrounding it, and we're also going to discuss conspiracy theories as a whole, why they are happening in the United States, and why they are harmful. But first, the shooting took place on April 25th, where Cole Allen rushed through a security checkpoint after being checked into the same hotel where the White House Correspondents' Dinner was taking place. He planned to attack all members of the administration, although for some reason left Kash Patel off his list. And after reports initially came out that he was some radical, anti-Christian, anti-Republican, leftist-fueled hate monger of everything right, it has become clear now that Cole Allen actually was just like the shooters in the other Trump assassination attempts. We are seeing that this is a person who was very disgruntled with the political system and the failure of government institutions in the United States as a whole. Now, this is leading into the political violence question a lot more as of late, since one, political violence is seemingly on the rise in the United States, and two, people are growing more and more frustrated with the institutions, especially currently with the Iran war and the continued funding for Israel the United States provides. The United States does not provide a whole lot of social services for its citizens. It does not provide free healthcare, free education, and the benefits if you are poor or lower working class are non-existent. There's very little the United States government does for its citizens, but we see year in, year out that it spends so much on military, and our representatives are among the top 1% and feed the top 1% for whatever they want to be doing. This has become clear over and over again. So Cole Allen is another one of these people who seemingly was disgruntled and over the fact that political institutions in the United States are not doing things for the American people. This is a continued issue in the United States, and it's why so many people are going either to the extreme left or to the extreme right. It's just unfortunate that the extreme right has the money and the power behind it. And it's why we saw the rise of Donald Trump. In fact, his 2016 election can be directly related to the fact that Obama bailed out the big banks. It can be directly related to the fact that H.W. Bush and Clinton signed the NAFTA agreements that sold out the American worker and gave American businesses the right to manufacture overseas. So these ongoing disgruntled and disillusionment with the American institutions is one, correct. You should be disillusioned with the American institutions as they are. But two, violence is not the answer. I made a video over a year ago now when Luigi Mangione, another person who strictly just said that he was disgruntled with institutions as a whole, and he assassinated Brian Thompson, the CEO of United Health. I made a video in reaction to that, in reaction to the push for more violence from that I saw on social media and in my own personal life. And I made a video basically saying what I'm going to say now in summary, that violence is not going to solve this, and the state would want you to be violent. If you were violent, for instance, if the people of Minnesota recently had taken up arms against the ICE officials, they would have been slaughtered, and that's exactly what the state would have liked, because then the state can react in these ways and say they're preemptively striking people. Donald Trump's administration specifically would really like to start cracking down on dissidents a lot harder. It's why after the Charlie Kirk assassination, and we'll talk more about that in a second, he declared that Antifa was a terrorist organization without really any evidence or understanding what Antifa was. But the reason they chose Antifa specifically is because Antifa has no listed membership base and is itself a decentralized unit. People can go out and act politically and say they're a member of Antifa, and that's true because Antifa itself is not a solidified thing. And that's why they chose it. So whenever they arrest political dissidents or they try to deport people, as they deported Mahmoud Khalil and students from Tufts in Colombia as of late, they can just say we're doing this because they stand about against American policy without specifying what it is they're doing. They can just say you support terrorist organizations or you support this. So they can say you support Hamas. They can say you support Antifa, even though you may or may not support those organizations. And that is why the state would love for more of this to become more violent, because that means they can crack down on dissidents even more. It's not talked a lot about a lot anymore, but After the 1960s, when Americans became more peacefully engaged in the democratic process, in the political process in the United States, a group of scholars and intellectuals, quote unquote, got together and they formed the Trilateral Commission, which found that the number one danger to American diplomacy and policy was the mass population of the 99% getting involved in politics like they did in the 60s. And since then, there's been a big push to keep us out, and now we're seeing that blowback now. Now back to Cole Allen and his attempted assassination attempt. Immediately after this attack happened, immediately after conspiracy theories started just flooding the internet, social media, word of mouth, people started saying it's staged, they did this or that. There's pictures going around of Mr. Allen in an IDF sweatshirt. I do not know if that picture is real or not. I have not been able to confirm it myself, but there's conspiracy theories left and right. Just like there's conspiracy theories about Charlie Kirk. Thanks, Max Blumenthal, for spreading those. Even though you have plausible deniability, you know damn well that you were essential to spreading those conspiracy theories. And just like there's conspiracy theories against Trump's first assassination and his second, and so on and so forth. Now, there's two parts to this. The first part of this is why are conspiracy theories becoming more and more prevalent in the American public's purview? Well, there is a main reason for this, and that is that there is such a lack of education in this country and such a lack of push for people to be educated that they, instead of looking at what is actually going on, which is the United States is an oligarchy that serves the plutocrats, we instead have people saying, oh, it has to be some conspiracy theory. It has to be Israel's doing this, or Trump staged it so we could get more favorable approval ratings, or try to distract from the debacle in Iran or the Epstein files, right? And so people push for this because they're just unaware or unable to read and be able to see what is actually happening. And a big part of this problem is people like Tucker Carlson. It's people like Max Blumenthal. It's people like Candace Owens who push these theories. And a lot of them end up being anti-Semitic. And I don't throw that word around lightly because in the last forever, since Israel became a thing in 1948, we have seen anti-Semitism and accusations of anti-Semitism become weaponized. Do I think that Tucker Carlson is an anti-Semite? No. Do I think that Zhang X Queen is an anti-Semite? Absolutely. And he's one of the leading conspirators of these, or one of the leading proprietors of these conspiracy theories. That man actually believes that secret societies rule the world. And people follow this because for one, these sort of conspiracy theories are more entertaining and they're like drama and they're like things you'll see on TV than actual things that are in reality happening. This Cole Allen was a disgruntled man who wanted to kill the Trump administration because he wanted an institution. He felt for some reason that by assassinating them, we could get back to an America or have an American government that worked for the American people in some way, whatever way he thought that was. And that's not only wrong, but it wouldn't have come true even if he did somehow kill Donald Trump or JD Vance or the whole administration. The next leader in place would be doing similar things to Donald Trump, although he may be a little quieter about it. We may have found more diplomacy in Iran instead of a war, and etc. But the main part of this is that we would still have the same United States government that has always been for the ultra rich. And that's what these conspiracy theories don't get. Conspiracy theories like to say, especially right now, they really like to point towards Israel as doing all these things. Now, has Israel and Mossad been guilty of committing things that have been detrimental to the world and have been done clandestinely to promote Israeli interests? Absolutely. But every single secret intelligence operation in the world, no matter the country, is guilty of that as well. You just have to look at CIA funding the Contras in Nicaragua. But to say things like Israel was behind Cole Allen trying to assassinate Donald Trump, or Israel was behind the Charlie Kirk murders, or Israel was behind the Trump assassination attempt, or Israel was behind 9/11, or Israel was behind the JFK shooting. You eventually get to a point when you're not connected to reality anymore. And while there may be questions around, say, the Charlie Kirk assassination or around the attempted assassination on Donald Trump's life, where the shooter actually got shots off at him and killed one civilian. Or there are questions around the assassination of John F. Kennedy. All of these are things that can be explained in rational ways. But to go through these hoops and these loops that some foreign government or the United States government itself is doing things to hurt and attack its own people, its own leaders, to promote some sort of self-interest is asinine. It's ridiculous. But people are continuing to believe these things. And we have to fight against them and try to educate as best we can. It's not that it's the same type of thing that, Joe Kent was saying on his first appearance after he resigned, where he was interviewed with Tucker Carlson, where he says things like, Israel got us into the Iraq War. This isn't true. Israel did not get us into the Iraq War. Dick Cheney and Donald Rumsfeld were 100% fully intent on attacking Iraq and taking over its resources, just like they did in Afghanistan and just like the plan was for Iran. But we've also did this since then in Somalia, in Syria, in Yemen, and so on and so forth. Israel did not have anything to do with that decision making. They may have wanted it, they may have lobbied for it, but the majority of the Israel lobby and the majority of what Israel wants is a push for more weapons so they can continue to do what they want to do, which is push the Palestinians out of Gaza and the West Bank and take southern Lebanon. Would they like to destroy Iran? Absolutely. Was Netanyahu and the head of Mossad almost certainly instrumental in persuading Donald Trump to go for this Iranian conflict? 100%. But at the end of the day, it's Donald Trump and the United States of America who made the decision. And then, whenever they wanted to stop, they stopped. And then they told Israel to stop attacking Lebanon. And they came to some agreement because that's how this works. So to continue to push these conspiracy theories misses such a bigger reality that is happening all around us, which is it's not that there's a government or an entity who is secretly pulling on the strings and making these things happen in a certain way of form. That's just not true. What is happening is the top 1% have all of their interests, and those interests trump every single thing the 99% want in this country. And that's the truth. So to continue to spread conspiracy theories online, to even continue to listen to them, promote them, or even act as if they're a reasoned argument when they're not based in facts or evidence, and the facts and the evidence that we do have that are concrete show us what the true story is going to continue to be harmful. And people like Tucker Carlson who continue to kind of hint at all these little secret little things. People like Jing X Quinn, who is just an anti-Semitic conspiracy theorist. People like Candace Owens, who is also anti-Semitic. Marjorie Taylor Greene, who has always been a conspiracy theorist. Don't forget that she harassed the children who were in school, children involved in school shootings. Don't ever forget that. So instead of looking at the actual facts and evidence, which are these assassins or would-be assassins like Cole Allen, like Tyler Robinson, like Luigi Mangione, who were disgruntled and suffering from their own things. Luigi Mangione had back problems. He wasn't getting the insurance coverage that he wanted, and he was mad at the United States, and he's mad at insurance companies for that. So he killed Brian Thompson. That's as clear as it goes. Tyler Robinson was mad at the hateful rhetoric that Charlie Kirk was saying about transgender people. And he had a transgender partner. And he wanted Charlie Kirk to stop. And he was really, really mad and disillusioned with the way the world was going. So he shot Charlie Kirk. Cole Allen was upset with the current institution's failure, although we can talk about them not really failure. They're set up and working exactly how they should be. But Cole Allen was perceiving the institutions as failing to provide for the Americans and then protecting an even bigger problem, which we haven't talked about enough, which is the fact that the Trump administration continues to block and hide away the Epstein files, which is an actual conspiracy that we actually know is out there and we still have not gotten answers from. But Cole Allen was frustrated with this, so he tried to kill the entire administration. It doesn't need to go further than that. If this picture of him in an IDF sweatshirt is true, or if he had all these employment records that we really don't really know about, does it really change any of his reasoning that he himself wrote down and gave to us? Does it change his own Twitter history of what he has posted? No, it doesn't. It's as black and white as this. People are always going to want monsters. They're always going to want a monster under their bed. They're always going to want something because it's easier to confront an invisible monster that you can't wrap your head around and you can't do anything about than it is to say, no, the real solution, the real problem is that the top 1% in the United States rule this place. They own everything, and they're consistently trying to take away your wages, your health care, and your rights every single year, month after month. And we need to unify and work together to fight them. That's hard. But it's easy to say, well, the Illuminati controls everything, and there's not a whole lot we can do about the Illuminati. They control the weather, they control this, or they control that. And that's exactly what the governments and the oligarchs want you. They want you uneducated. They want you not reading. They want you not thinking critically. They want you believing these completely ridiculous conspiracy theories because if you believe those and you continue to fight on a false premise, you are never going to get anywhere. There's still genocide going on in Gaza. Palestinians are continually being killed in Gaza and the West Bank. Israel is continuing its settlement expansions in the West Bank and annexing more land there. Israel is also killing people in southern Lebanon in numbers not seen since pre the 2024 treaty between Lebanon and Israel. We are living in a scary time. And we have to do something to stop the realities that are here on the ground. We can't have our heads in the clouds. Thank you so much for watching this video. The first link in the description, as always, will be to donate for food for Gaza because there is still an emergency food crisis happening in Gaza due to the Israeli restrictions on the entire area. Israel controls, I think, over half of Gaza right now. They want to control all of it and they want to push the Palestinians out. That is their whole goal. It has been forever. And we have to do all we can to make sure that doesn't happen. Thank you so much again for watching this video. I'm Zachariah, and I'll see you later.